So, you know how some anime are so legendary that they inspire countless tributes, homages, and even unofficial adaptations? Well, today, we're not talking about those. Instead, we're diving into something much worse. Some of the most blatant, shameless anime and manga ripoffs to ever exist. I've got 4 prime examples lined up, so let's get right into it. Alright, first up is this masterpiece, One Piece. No, not One Piece. One Piece. Yep, this is real. And yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This bootleg masterpiece was produced by a Korean animation studio and released online back in 2003. The premise? A group of young adventurers set sail across the seas to search for a legendary treasure called Wa, back in a time when all continents were still connected. Sound familiar? Yeah, the only real difference is that they're searching for Wa instead of the One Piece. Now let's take a look at the main character. Come on, that is 100% just Luffy with an off-brand filter. Though, I gotta say, the quality of One Piece is leagues ahead of whatever this is. Oh, and get this, the protagonist of One Piece is named Champy. That's right, Champy. That might be one of the most tragic names I've ever heard, and it doesn't stop there. Let's check out the rest of the crew. Yeah, they all look way too familiar. And then there's this character who is very clearly based on Nami. But her name? Ayumi. Why? Why give her a Japanese name instead of a Korean one? I have so many questions. Now, as expected, Japan absolutely lost its mind over this blatant ripoff. But here's the thing, so did Korea. One Korean news outlet put it best. Even as a fellow citizen, this is shocking. The company may keep the profits, but the embarrassment falls on the entire nation. And the controversy didn't stop there. The CEO of the animation studio actually responded to the plagiarism accusations in an interview, and his defense was something else. Here's what he said. One Piece fans are just being stubborn because the atmosphere is similar. If you actually understand art, you wouldn't call this plagiarism. But if you still believe it's a ripoff, go ahead and sue us. We're confident we'd win. Man, I wish I had half of this guy's confidence. And then there's this gem. Apparently, One Piece had a character inspired by Shanks, except this version was named Shan Shan. And when asked about the similarities, the CEO actually said this. The names just happen to sound alike. Also, in One Piece, Shanks only lost one arm, right? Well, in our story, Shan Shan lost both arms. So how could you call this plagiarism? What? Like, seriously, what? So, you'd think this whole situation would lead to a clear-cut legal battle where justice prevails, right? Well, not exactly. There was a trial, but shockingly, the Korean courts ruled that One Piece was not guilty of plagiarism. One of the biggest reasons? At the time, there was a strong anti-Japan sentiment in Korea, which may have influenced the ruling. But here's where things get interesting. Fans, both in Japan and Korea, were so outraged that they took matters into their own hands. They launched boycotts against the company's products. They hacked the company's website. They completely destroyed the studio's reputation. And eventually, the company collapsed and went bankrupt. Justice served. Oh, and fun fact, before they went under, this same studio also made a bootleg version of Ranma 1/2 called Ranba 1/3. I'm not even joking. Alright, moving on to the second entry on our list, we've got High School Life Record. Now, this one is a Korean webtoon, and it's widely believed to be a blatant ripoff of Slam Dunk. And here's the kicker. The person behind this series? Not some random amateur. No, this is a veteran manga artist with over 20 years of experience in the industry. In Korea, he's actually pretty well known. So, what exactly makes this a Slam Dunk clone? Let's break it down. Unlike some ripoffs that just borrow ideas or take inspiration, High School Life Record straight up traced Slam Dunk. Check this out. See that? The positioning of the lines, the structure, everything matches up perfectly. Now, if this were just a one-time coincidence, maybe people would have given it the benefit of the doubt. But nope. It wasn't just one panel. Here's another example. Yeah, at this point, it's way too obvious. When you're literally tracing existing artwork line for line, that's not influence or homage. That's just straight up plagiarism. No respect for the original. No effort to make it your own. Just a copy-paste job disguised as a new series. After the plagiarism accusations blew up, the creator of High School Life Record actually posted an apology on social media. And, let's just say it wasn't the best defense. Here's what he said. I love Slam Dunk so much that I've copied all 30 volumes multiple times. My drawing style has naturally become similar. It's not something I consciously think about. It's just ingrained in my body. I hope people can understand that. Dude, what? He made it sound weirdly poetic, like some kind of profound artistic journey. But let's be real, this isn't some similarity in style. This is a full-blown copy-paste job. Like, come on, no one's buying that excuse. So, what happened next? Well, unsurprisingly, High School Life Record was canceled. Gone. Done. Completely wiped off the face of the internet. Honestly, the only surprising thing here is that it took this long for it to get shut down. And with that, we move on to the next shameless ripoff on our list. Alright, moving on to number 3, we've got Demon Slayer Sword. And just like One Piece, the name alone makes it painfully obvious what this game is ripping off. Yep, this is a blatant clone of Demon Slayer. And look, before we even get into the details, just take a look at the main character. Yeah, that is literally just Tanjiro. There's no way around it. But here's the thing, this isn't an anime. It's actually a mobile game that was released in April 2020 in South Korea. So, what's this game about? Well, Demon Slayer Sword follows a young boy named Tatsuya, whose family is killed by demons, and he sets out on a journey to defeat them in an action RPG. Sound familiar? It's basically the exact same story as Demon Slayer, just with a slightly different name. And also, why? Why do these ripoffs always use Japanese names instead of Korean ones? Like, if you're going to steal an entire concept, at least make an effort to localize it. We already established that Tanjiro got shamelessly copied, but what about the rest of the cast? Well, there's a Nezuko lookalike, except this version has 2 horns sticking out of her forehead instead of a bamboo muzzle. But yeah, still very obviously Nezuko. Of course, they had to throw in a Zenitsu ripoff because, well, he's popular. And then there's Inosuke, who, honestly, they didn't even try to hide it. And it doesn't stop there. The entire pillar lineup, you know, the strongest Demon Slayer core members, was basically recreated in this game. Oh, and get this, even the gameplay itself wasn't original. Apparently, it looks suspiciously similar to a 2019 South Korean mobile game called Swordmaster Story. So, yeah, they weren't even trying. Now, obviously, this game got a ton of backlash. So much so that a Korean news outlet actually called the developers to ask about the plagiarism accusations. And their response? The characters just happen to look similar because they wear traditional Japanese clothing. That has to be one of the worst excuses I've ever heard. Like, come on, this isn't just about the outfits. The entire character roster, the story, and even the game mechanics were copied. You're telling me that's just a coincidence? Yeah, no one's buying that. Now, here's where things get funny. This game launched on April 24th, 2020. 3 days later, April 27th, the developers issued a public apology. And then, just 2 days after that, the game was completely removed from app stores. That means Demon Slayer Sword lasted only 5 days before it was shut down. That's faster than Zenitsu's thunder breathing. Honestly, I can't tell if that's hilarious or just plain sad. Alright, that's 3 down, but we're not done yet. Let's move on to the next ridiculous ripoff on our list. Alright, last on our list, we've got Earth Defense Players. And, oh boy, this one is something else. Why? Because this masterpiece of plagiarism didn't just rip off one legendary anime, but 2. Yep, Neon Genesis Evangelion and Mobile Suit Gundam both got shamelessly copied here. I can already feel the lawsuit energy radiating from this one. So, Earth Defense Players isn't actually an anime. It's a 6-minute-long animated promotional video made by a Chinese company in 2012 for a family-oriented product ad. The gimmick: parents could insert their kid's name and face into the animation, making them the main character of a giant robot story. Which, okay, in theory, is kinda cool. The actual story is nothing special. It's just 3 kids piloting robots to defend Earth from invading aliens. But where things go very wrong is in the character designs and mecha. Alright, let's start with how Earth Defense Players rips off Evangelion. The biggest giveaway? The suits! Take a look at this image. Tell me that doesn't look like Asuka, Shinji, and Rei's plug suits. I mean, come on. They didn't even try to make them look different. But wait, it gets worse. Because when it comes to Gundam, this isn't even a ripoff anymore. They straight up copy-pasted the design and just threw it into the animation like nobody would notice. Like, there's zero effort to even disguise it. No tweaking, no altering, no inspired by nonsense. Just straight up Gundam. At least most ripoffs try to cover their tracks. This one? Nah, they were like, screw it, let's just steal it all. So naturally, when this video got uploaded to YouTube, people absolutely destroyed it in the comments section. It got bombarded with dislikes, and anime fans worldwide dragged it through the mud. Honestly, rightfully so. Now, before we wrap this up, I gotta say something. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that there are a ton of knockoff anime and manga out there. And, well, after going through all these examples, Turns out most of them come from just 2 countries. Yeah, China and South Korea. At this point, I'm starting to think plagiarism might just be their national pastime. So today, we covered 4 of the most ridiculous anime and manga ripoffs out there. But trust me, there are plenty more. If you guys enjoyed this and want to see more insane knockoffs, let me know. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.